Hello, ePadosi viewers. Today, we are going to discuss the rising concern our Fremont residents have around homelessness. We have a guest, Mr. Raj Salwan, our City Council member for more than 10 years, running Mayor for Fremont 2024. Hello, Mr. Raj.
Good afternoon, Alok. It's great seeing you.
Same here.
Yeah.
So, our viewers are excited, and they sent us several questions. As we discussed last time, that now we will take, one issue or one concern at a time and not mixing several points at the same time. So it will be easy for our viewers to understand what are the concerns. You can understand their concerns and then you can respond. So,
Absolutely.
Are you ready for the question?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm going to move back a little bit closer.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you know, as we discussed last time, the main reason concern our viewers showed in our question that this rising number of tents around Fremont downtown sometimes show up. So they have a concern and they're asking the question. So first guy, Mr. Santhal, is asking is there any specific strategy in place from the city side and how city is going or working around this tents issue in the city?
Well, great question, Alok. Homelessness is a very complicated subject. It's probably one of the most difficult things we deal with. And there's no silver bullet, that will solve everything. So the different issues that cause homelessness, one of the big ones is mental health issues. We have a huge mental health concern. There's lack of adequate funding. And it started maybe about 30 years ago where they released folks that were in institutions, hoping that if they're released, that they can do what they want to do rather than being stuck in some mental hospital. But then no services were provided for them. There was no mental health care, no psychologists, no doctors to help them. And so there was no care whatsoever. And it had just gone worse and worse over the years. And so as a community, we don't invest enough in mental health. So that's a huge issue. Other issues are related to addiction, so we need to work on rehabilitation and try to get them on the right path. There's also lack of housing. For decades, we've been having lots of jobs, lots of people coming here, and we are not building enough housing for people at the bottom of the ladder, especially those that are unhoused or close to being unhoused. And so we have to look at those issues that are causing that. And so it's a complicated problem, and we need to work in a regional manner. So, for example, if one city does something but the other neighboring city is not doing anything, it just displaces from one area to another. And so what we need to do as a state and as a region is to try to address it holistically. So for those folks that are on the verge of getting homeless, those are the people we need to help first. Because if you can prevent somebody from becoming homeless, that will prevent somebody on the street. So in some cases, they need vouchers, to kind of help them with their last rent, or maybe they have some issue, disability. Maybe the city can help them find funding for that. So we are looking at more programs to prevent homelessness in general. Second is, if they have disabilities, we try to address the different disabilities. Some need retraining, so we try to work on those programs. And some need mental health support, so they need to see professionals that can help them with that. So those are some of the things that we're doing. So we're always trying to balance everything. We want to make sure that we're compassionate, we're helping the people that are down and in their luck, and just try to help them deal with the various issues. At the same time, we have to make sure that the impacts of the homelessness doesn't affect the neighbors. So it's not just the individual living on the street, but it also has direct impact on our day-to-day lives, whether going to work, going to the grocery store, going to our small businesses, all over. So it's a very complicated issue, and I'm happy to talk more in more detail as we get
I understand. So it is so. Second question, I think you almost touched, but I will still. This person want to be anonymous. The question is very simple. They're asking, are there any resources or programs available to help homeless individuals finding maybe stable housing or support services to them?
Yeah, so City of Fremont, we're pretty active as far as a lot of the programs. For example, we do have the Housing Navigation Center, and that has seemed to be working very well. The folks that do get housed there are taken care of, and they have a very high percentage of getting permanently housed. As far as individuals, I think we should try to work and inform our city government. So if you do see somebody on the street or somebody that's camped out, let the city know. We have a advocate for the homeless individuals in the city of Fremont. And they can kind of help address the issues, meet with the people, and try to find a place for them. There's a lot of laws that govern homelessness. Being homeless is not a crime. So just because somebody's homeless, we can't arrest them. No. We have to give opportunities for them to get on the right path and try to find a path for permanent housing. So if somebody is camped out in some street near the Safeway, for example, we have to, talk to them, find out what the issues are, how we can help, and try to find them a voucher or some place where they can stay in the hotel or find a place so that they can be off the street. It's not humane for them to be on the street. It's not good for them. And so that's one strategy. And then once we do house them, then we try to work on all the other issues that they may have. So as a community, I think, we do have the Housing Navigation Center, so people can donate, they can bring food or blankets or socks or things like that, so that, we're trying to address the issue. Homelessness is something we can't run away from. It's here. I mean, we have to deal with it. And it can't be like, we're not going to do anything. We can't hold our hands up and that's it. Because there will be more people outside. It'll just keep growing. So we have to literally work with the folks, manage them, try to get them in permanent situations. So that's kind of what the goal is, to try to fix the issue. But we need to fix all these different levers. It's not one lever I can pull. It's not all mental health. It's not all addiction. It's not all housing. It's all of the issues. And we got to tackle each one by one.
Thanks for answering. So next question is from person Sejal, and she said the question was bigger. We just trim it down a little bit, but question was aligned in your thought process. We are saying, okay, we all think that we should help the homeless. We are not saying it is a crime or it is a bad thing. So we also feel we should help them. But sometimes, when you see a lot of tents, when you feel like, I'm afraid to walk there, so that's different scenario immediately show up. So question is aligned, which is, I think, little tricky question, to be honest, where the question is saying that how does city feel and how the city thinks they can balance while helping the homeless, allowing them to shelter, at the same time, giving the public safety and also giving that a downtown feel and that vibe. You don't want to take away that downtown vibe just because there are dirty tents around. So how you think city is planning to balance these two at the same time?
Yeah, again, a difficult challenge, but I think that, again, being unhoused is not a crime, so we do have to work with individuals that are unhoused. I think what we do need to do is to reduce the impacts that they have on the community. So, for example, like if they're in a neighborhood, outside your house, it might be concerning you more than if they were, in some shopping center. If they're near like your local small business and you're having a hard time accessing the place, then obviously that affects your mental state, and you may not feel comfortable. You don't want to have a awkward interaction. So I do feel that the city does have a responsibility to make sure that people feel safe, that they feel comfortable, that they don't feel any intimidation or being harassed in any way or disrupted in their day-to-day lives. So I think the city does have that responsibility. So we have to have kind of a balanced approach. On the one hand, we need to help them, try to find them in the right spot, give them an opportunity to get in the right path and a permanent housing. And on the other hand, we do have to make sure that that there's not too many impacts. So, for example, we have creeks. We don't want sewage or other stuff in our creek because all that stuff gets up in our water. We want to make sure that people feel safe. If people are trying to go to their school and there's large RVs or there's hazards along the way, that's not safe for our kids. That's not safe for our families. If people walking in the evening, they don't want to feel like they're surrounded and they can't seem to use the parks. These are everyday things that we come to expect. So I think the city does have some responsibility there, and we do want to again offer the carrot, and also we have to be willing to tell them when they're not behaving properly. And so as a city, we're trying to actively manage any of these situations. So before, many of the cities were just ignoring it, but then if you ignore it, a lot of bad things are happening. So we do regular cleanups. So there's somebody checking on them every week. We talk to them, say, how's it going? What can we do? How can we help you? We try to address the various issues they may be having. We try to do just overall cleanliness, give them dumpsters, help them wash their clothes, a nice shower so that they feel better. We have places in town that provide free meals. So again, we're just trying to make sure that they're managed and in a good state. Because from a business perspective, we're going to have to deal with the homeless no matter what. You can either pay for prisons or arresting or jail, which costs a lot more, or you can put some of that money into support services and rehabilitation and try to get them on the right path. Even if you get 1 out of 100, that's one person we've saved their life. We made them, have a successful future. So it's a very complicated issue, and again, I don't have all the answers. I'm been there over a decade, like you said, and I'm constantly evolving on this issue and trying to find that sweet spot where we're doing the most good for the most people.
It's wonderful because you see the challenge we can also understand here is balancing the fact is not easy. No. Because as we said, we all want to have them out. When you see their situation, you feel bad, you want to have them out. But at the same time, when residents see the different tents, they feel like different ways. So, both sides of the stories needs to cover. And I think you touched it pretty nicely.
And I will add, so we had a Supreme Court decision, Boise, before that prevented us from doing anything about, like if somebody was camped outside, we couldn't say, hey, you have to vacate. They have a right to be there. And so we had to guarantee that we'd have a shelter bed. And nobody has enough shelter beds. We definitely, that's another thing we need to do. We need to create a lot more shelter beds for temporary housing. So if you can get somebody housed, then they're off the street and then they can have a daily managed care. Yep. And once they're indoors, you can resolve all the other issues. Being outdoors in these unmanaged encampments leads to a lot of issues. And just recently, the Supreme Court had a new ruling with Grant Pass that does allow the cities more flexibility. So previously, cities were always defensive. Oh, we can't do anything because we don't want to get sued or we'll have some issue. And so now we do have some discretion. So not that we're going to lock everybody up or kick people out. We still want to be compassionate. We still want to work with them. We still want to provide shelter, the mental health, the addiction service support, and of course the benefits. But we do have the tool to say, hey, we've done everything we can. This is getting out of hand. We want you to move along. And so, again, not arresting people, but trying to see compliance and try to get them on the right path. So it's, again, very complicated issue, and I'm sure we'll keep tackling it. I know San Francisco has been doing it longer than anybody, and I don't think the situation is any better. So
totally agree.
It's definitely a complicated issue.
So this one question is from my own team, ePolicy team. We would like to know, is there any way these residents or businesses can help, either homeless directly or maybe city, to really, execute your program, resources in mind, to really make it better for everybody, as you said?
Well, from the business side, you could have a business improvement district. So you could have folks that, patrol the downtown environment, that, help people as needed. If there's something that's causing disruption or making somebody feel unsafe, they can kind of help escort people or take people to different places. So they do allow business improvement districts. As neighbors and friends, I think we just need to be more, monitoring the situation. And if you see something, tell someone, tell the city. Don't just complain about it or post on social media. Go talk to somebody. So that way we can send somebody out and talk to the person, say, hey, what's going on? How can we help you? What are the issues you're having? And then we try to address those issues. So those are some of the things. Also we have feeding programs. People can go to these shelters where they can cook, they can feed the people, and give back in that way as well. So a lot of ways we can do good and help and try to help the issue. Like I said, you can't criminalize it. You can't just wish it away. It's something we have to deal with it. We have to try to find the solutions, try to solve the problems.
Totally agree. Any last thought about the homeless? You want to share anything you noticed in last 10 years or something?
Yeah. Well, I will just say, I want to thank everybody. I know it's a very difficult situation. And so on my end, I'm going to do everything I can to reduce homelessness, try to help the folks that can use the help, and also provide a safe environment for our community. Make sure we minimize the impacts. We don't want people to feel like they can't go to the park or can't go to the school or not feel safe. And so hopefully with this balanced approach, we can help tackle this issue. We are making progress. This year, we did a point-in-time count, and we were down 22%. Now, that's not a lot. There's still homeless people out there, but that's better. And I think we're making a dent in a lot of that. And so, so as we continue to work on that issue and we use this multi-pronged approach, I'm hopeful. I'm an optimist. I always believe we can solve anything. We just need to work together and try to solve the issue. Blaming doesn't help. Scapegoating doesn't help. It's us. We have to fix it. So we have to work together collaboratively as a community and try to address this issue. That's upon us. And and then there's other factors too, as far as rampant drug use and other things. Like, it's crazy. I just can't believe that fentanyl is on the street. Yeah. I'm a veterinarian. I'm background checked. I have a DEA license, fingerprinted every 10 years. And to do like a fentanyl, I have to do so many forms. I have to do like a triplicate form. I have to put in some database. And I'm scared to use it. These guys are handing fentanyl left and right. So that's not right. We can't encourage this kind of drug use. We have to criminalize folks that are just passing out fentanyl left and right. And we need to go back to, accountability and rules and making sure that people are following the law. So I think some of those things need to be addressed as well.
Great. Thank you, Raj. Thanks for answering all these questions.
Thank you.
So, ePadosi viewers, you just heard from city itself, correct? Our city council member told you the city's perspective, how they are trying to balance, and I think we all agree that is not a simple issue. It is a complex issue where we all need to participate and helping the city out to fix this problem in the right way. So, any question you have, next time we are going to cover the Fremont City Development Project issues. If any concern you have, please feel free to send us the questions on www.epadosi.com, and we will try to take your question and answer. We will get the answer from Mr. Raj. Thank you very much.